Welcome to the Maine Money Show, where Wall Street meets Main Street. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Jordan Main, president of Maine Financial Group, as well as Adam Freund, CRC at Maine Financial Group. And to our viewers at home, have you thought about making the transition of Paycheck to Playcheck? Well, what does that even mean? We're going to talk about how do you plan your overall retirement? Is it only about income? What about fun? We're going to talk all about retirement on today's show. Jordan, how are you today?
Oh, I'm excited to be here. How are you?
Excited to be here as well. Thank you so much for asking. And Adam, how are you?
I'm super-de-duper. But I also want to point out, again, that Mr. Main here has written a new book.
Yes.
And I was just perusing through it through our brief stay over commercial before coming on the air. And I noticed here that this says to be or not to be. That is the question. So it's all original material, all about real estate, all about retirement, all about how to become a Main Street millionaire.
And it's a lovely book. I know people have really enjoyed reading it, and I know that you were actually offering that as one of the offers when people came in for their complimentary consultation. So what's that been like, Jordan? People are obviously very excited.
Yeah, a lot of excitement. You know, it took me a long time to write this book. It's nearly 300 pages, and you know, I really wanted to get a guide that would take that complex Wall Street jargon and all the strategies that the private equity and hedge fund and people in New York use and convert that to Main Street values, what the everyday American can use in their own retirement planning. So it truly is a guide. It's not a sales piece. It's a way for people to read this and just get through all that jargon.
I love that. I love that. Well, today's show, we're going to talk all about redefining retirement, if you will. Before we jump in, though, gentlemen, I'd love to hear your ideas of if you were to do something fun in your retirement that didn't involve money, what would it be?
Ooh.
Yep.
You mean like making money? Or, I mean, to me, I've always wanted to do one of those river cruises.
Okay.
Whether it's in Europe, like down the Danube, or maybe you can retrace the Lewis and Clark expedition on the Snake River. You can go down the Mississippi. To me, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I guess money wouldn't, if money doesn't matter, then that would be something that I would really want to do.
I love that,
Yeah.
Jordan.
Well, I think my wife would agree to this. If I won the lotto and said I would go do free landscape design.
Oh.
I love it. It's my happy place to be out there and looking at all of the horticulture and the different species and specimen. And I just love it. So if I didn't have to work, that I would go help people improve their landscape.
8+ years I've been with this guy, and this is the first time I've ever heard of this.
Yeah.
I love that. Has that always been a passion of yours?
Yeah.
How about you?
Very, very, very therapeutic. Yeah. How about you, Cynthia?
Okay, so if money was not an object, I would say we would definitely just travel as long as we wanted to travel through Italy, meaning my husband and I, because that's always been his dream. But if we're thinking of something that doesn't involve money, you'd probably find me in the library reading to children.
Oh,
I love
Jeez.
telling stories, reading stories, being around kids. That would be my passion. So I would definitely be in the library.
That makes mine sound so selfish.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it doesn't. It sounds perfect. Absolutely. So we're talking a little bit about redefining someone's retirement. Well, what does that even mean when you talk about it? Obviously, having enough money saved, but what's really changing about retirement today? I have a question about that. What is really changing?
Well, I think the first thing is everybody's living longer, which is a good thing, right? And what we're really finding, which is kind of strange for us in our office, is that people are retiring earlier. They're not waiting till they turn 65. I think the feeling is that, well, if I got enough money and I can retire at, let's say, 55, then I'm going to do that. That presents some problems, which we can talk about. But so that means that we have to plan for. We used to have to plan for a 20-year retirement.
Right.
Then it went to 25 years, and then it went to 30. Well, if you're retiring at at 55, that could be a 30-year plus retirement. So that we've got to plan
That's
that.
true.
I think the other change, not only is it a longer path or a long time frame, it's how active retirees are now.
Oh,
Oh, no
that's
question.
true.
I mean, let's talk about pickleball.
Yes, let's talk about it.
$1 billion industry, private clubs you can join.
Yes.
And not only the physical side, but the social aspect of it. I mean, it is blown up, and it's not where my grandpa, and maybe yours too, would go sit in a rocking chair
Yeah.
and count the days down until they're numbered. People are traveling and active, and 85-year-old we saw water skiing on the lake the other day. It's a whole new world in retirement.
Well, they were dragging him, but that's a whole other story.
Well, before we move on, have you played pickleball, either one of you? Do you have any interest in
No.
learning?
I was a tennis player, and
So was I.
our son and daughter and my wife Emily were tennis players.
Yep.
And so I at first was looking down on it. Well, that's just ping
No,
pong.
it looks like fun.
But now as I get more
Yeah,
into it, it looks
does.
pretty cool. How about
Yeah.
you? Have you played?
I have not. I love golf. That's kind of like the
Wow.
thing that we do. But pickleball is all the rage in our area, and my daughter loves it. She plays with her boyfriend all the time. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me. So, let's talk a little bit about, obviously, people are concerned about saving enough, but pensions are becoming a thing of the past. How does that impact someone's retirement plan?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's go back to the 70s with the creation of ERISA. What was that? Employee Retirement Investment Savings Act. And that's essentially when companies decided, well, we don't need to take on this liability as a pension anymore. We're going to create these things called 401ks. And we're going to now shift the responsibility to the employee to manage their own money. And most of it was mutual funds and what have you, company stock. And so now, like my grandpa Ed, who worked at Ford, or he would call it Fords with an S, he now had to figure out, well, wait a minute, I've got to now manage these dollars without a whole lot of help whatsoever. And it made sense from a company standpoint because that's a big liability, especially as people are living longer now. So that shift really started in the 80s and in the 90s. And then with all of our medical advancements, people's longevity is, I mean, I think don't quote me on this, but I think there's a stat where within the last couple of years, more people turned over 85 than babies being born. Which is insane to think about.
I'm writing that down. That's a quote from Jordan.
Uh-oh, I said don't quote me on it. We gotta fact check me.
And don't we have to be or not to be also in the book as well?
We do, yes. So, but good old Shakespeare. No, I mean, the fact of the matter is the pensions are starting to fade away.
Yes.
In our area, automotive still has pensions. I think the teachers still have pensions. But I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, when somebody in the automotive industry comes in, one of the first questions they're asking us is, should I take the buyout, the pension buyout?
Right.
And I would say 99% of the time, we're telling them yes. And the reason is that it's better to have a bird in the hand than 2 in the bush. What does that mean? It's better to have that money in your control, under your roof, so to speak, versus having it still at your former employer or whatever they're using to manage that. Because most of the plans, the way they work is you sign dotted line, you start your pension, you go outside, you get hit by a bus, that pension's gone.
Or your spouse gets
a reduced amount.
And then upon the spouse's death,
it's gone.
It's all gone.
So if the 2 of you die in a fiery romantic car accident in the huge cliffs that we have in Michigan, but that
fiery romantic car accident?
Yeah, well, you know, what can I tell you?
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Toonsa's the cat.
But I remember him, the driving kid.
Right.
I mean,
But that as you fall to your death, that money is gone. Versus having the buyout, that money will go to your heirs. So it is very important.
And then it
to
comes
look at
down to efficiency now. People are having to say, how can I make this money last and develop a paycheck? And I think that's what the title of our show was today, right? So we had 2 different clients come in, and one of them said, well, I have $2 million, and the plan I have in place, I can generate 3% a year and not outlive my money, which was $60,000, right? And I said, well, we have a client that with $1 million, we were able to generate $70,000 a year by being more efficient using the right tools. Which would you rather have? So what's more important, the number? Everyone focuses on the number.
That's true.
Or the income or the paycheck.
Right.
And for us in retirement, it's a time for a mode shift to say, what is the biggest amount of income we can get?
I love that. Well, Jordan, I think this is the perfect opportunity for us to take our first commercial break today. Talk a little bit about your book and what people can expect when they come into the office for the first time.
Yeah, our offer today is to call the number on your screen or click the QR code and come in for 2 meetings to get your own personalized, what we call our RIP report, R-I-P-T. The R is an evaluation of the risk that you're taking in your portfolio. Are you too aggressive or too conservative for your own liking? The I is the income plan. We're talking about that in today's show. Do you have an income plan or an income guess? What if you screw up and live too long? Are you going to outlive your money? The P is the portfolio health. Put that portfolio on a stress test. How are you doing in the areas of performance and fees and sectors? The T is another big one, the taxes. Do you have a plan to get Uncle Sam out of your pocketbook? So come in for 2 meetings. We'll get you your own RIP report, and we're going to throw in a copy of my new book, The Main Street Millionaire. We have 4 offices around Detroit, Troy, Bloomfield, Northville, and Brighton.
And if you're really nice, I'll get Jordan to sign your copy.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Jordan. To the viewers at home, the number to call is on your screen, 888-462-7839. When you book your complimentary consultation, you will receive a copy of Jordan's book. You don't want to miss this. Once again, 888-462-7839. Or grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. We're going to take a very short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about paychecks to playchecks. What does that mean? Stay tuned. We're going to dive in when we return.
I started out actually going to college, and I was going to be a music teacher. I realized very early on, like at the end of my first semester, that it just was not for me. Fast forward many years later, my parents are educators. My dad quit being a teacher and became a real estate and commercial real estate. And after I graduated college, I decided I would go and work for him. And what I really liked was helping people make money. And I realized that that was more my calling than actually selling real estate. So I ended up getting into the financial advising world. It was a big jump, but it was the fact that I was going to be helping people rather than selling people. And that makes a huge difference in my mind. I have enjoyed it tremendously. When you can tell a client, hey, guess what? You can retire. It's one of the best days of my life right there. It's not about my goals. It's not about my office's goals. It's about their goals. It's their money. We need to educate them in order for them to continue to live in a manner of which they become accustomed. Selling is terrible. Educating, getting people to understand why we need to do it this way and consult with them, that's the way to do it.
Welcome back to the Main Money Show, where Wall Street meets Main Street. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Jordan Main, president of Main Financial Group, and Adam Freund, CRC at Main Financial Group. What we are talking about today is turning your paychecks into playchecks. What does that really mean? We're going to get into that more in depth in today's segment, this next segment. This is a very interesting statement, and I love that. From paychecks to playchecks. That phrase is interesting to me. What does that mean for our viewers at home?
Well, what it means is that in retirement, you need to have both. You need to have both paychecks and playchecks. Paychecks are the things that you can count on that are going to pay the bills. For instance, Social Security, a pension if you still have a pension, bonds that have straight out bonds that have some sort of income on it. Those keep you from keeping your one eye open at night, wondering how you're going to pay for the next bill, okay? Playchecks is everything else that goes on top of that. Things that you can take a little bit more risk on. And if it's a year that the market is down, for instance, you don't have to take money out, pardon me, money out to in order for you to continue on living. Would you say that is correct, Mr. Main?
Yeah, we talk about this all the time in our office. You know, how do you develop, it doesn't matter how much money you have in your retirement accounts, as we talked in the last segment, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. how does that convert to a guaranteed income stream, right? And you can use some of the vehicles that Adam talked about. You can also use annuities, things that you can never outlive. And that should be the base amount of your income to cover all your expenses. Then those trips, we're going to take granddaughter to France, we're going to do other things. Those should come out of the next bucket up, which we call our Playchecks.
Okay.
And then we've got our last bucket that I consider is our growth dollars that we don't want to kind of tie down with having to produce income. We'll let those things shine and go and grow.
Okay.
So the idea is develop different buckets of money with different missions, if you will, or objectives.
And does the RIP report help with that?
No. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes. No.
Yeah,
yes,
that's the I and the RIP. That's the income strategy. So what we do is we can help clients that sit down with us put together an actual roadmap and develop their guaranteed paychecks and then their playchecks for their fun things is all in one written financial plan.
I love that. I love that. Well, talk to me a little bit about the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years.
This is
How do
his
you break
favorite.
those down?
This is his favorite part.
This was my, after many years in this business, I looked at it and said, boy, there really are 3 phases to retirement income. It isn't just a linear line. This is what we need. The first third, you're feeling your best for the most part. You're healthy. So maybe that's you're in your 60s and you retire. Those are the go-go years.
Okay.
We're
Yes,
we're going all
pickleball.
over the place. We're going to the Egyptian pyramids. We're traveling all over the place, right? and we're spending more money then, right? Then the 70s, okay, we slow down. We're not going on as many planes. Grandkids maybe are coming to see us. We call that the slow go.
year.
You
Okay.
know, we're still playing pickleball when we can, but we're not playing golf 5 days a week. You know, and then the last phase, 80s and 90s, we're saying the no-go. We're going a lot of doctor's appointments, maybe long-term care facilities. So your income needs are going to fluctuate throughout retirement. It's not just a linear line. So yeah, I came up with that go-go, slow-go, no-go, and he makes fun of me for
I
it.
love it.
I think it's great.
I love
and
it.
so flexibility is key, obviously, through all those phases, correct?
Yes, correct. You need to be flexible. Obviously, life comes at you, so you got to be able to zig when you need to zag or zag when you need to zig. And even though we always talk about this RIP report, we know that this is not written in cement, right? Things happen, things change, but having a plan in place is so important so that you can make those shifts to help you through the no-go, slow-go.
Well, that's why it's called a roadmap.
Yes.
Where, you know, roads
There you
don't
go.
always go straight, they wind.
That's
And
true.
your life comes at us in good ways and bad ways. Health issues, divorces, lottery winnings, good and bad, it comes at us. And we know in retirement, we've got to have a plan that can absorb those changes.
That's correct.
Most definitely. Another thing we should talk about is the risk of timing, sequence of return risk, if you will. That's a big one for viewers at home. Why should they be concerned about? And what do we mean by sequence of return risk, if you will?
What
How do you
a
break that
great
down?
question, Cynthia.
Well,
it's
thank
as
you.
if it was written down for you. No.
Now, hush.
So
Hush.
what I'm going to ask is the people in the control room, put up these are 2 random brothers that we picked out just to show you what a sequence of return risk is. So, I wish they would have gone to the other slide, but that's okay. There you go. That's perfect. So
Yay.
here we go. We picked these 2 random guys.
I know those brothers.
There you go. So we'll call the guy on the left Will and the guy on the right John, or if on TV that might be reversed. But at any rate, they're 2 brothers, 2 different retirements. Both have $500,000 IRA. Both are taking $30,000 out annually as income. So let's see what happens. Will's going to retire in 1990, and John is going to retire in year 2000. So now let's put up that little guy. There we go. So on the left-hand side there, you see Will. And what happens is that Will gets lucky. He retires. Yes, the first year he retires, and you might have to walk up to your TV set and take a real quick look there. But he retires in a year that was down. But every other year after that, the market was up. And even though he started with $500,000, and even though he was taking $30,000 out every year, he ends up with $1.2 million at the end of 10 years. Now,
Okay.
we look at John on the right-hand side. Poor John. John gets saddled with 3 terrible years to start. And in the second to last year, a huge loss in the market. And because he's relying so much on the market and this $30,000, every time he takes money out, he's exacerbating the situation. He's
Oh,
he's
wow.
causing even more loss, and that's called reverse dollar cost averaging. See, I learned that from Mr. Main. And this is a huge risk in retirement, because when you rely on that Playcheck money as your paycheck money, this is what could happen to you.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that, and they call it sequence of return risk, but it's essentially, you can look at two 10-year windows and do a rate of return, a random rate for one person, and then just do the backwards, start the last from the first and reverse it, and you'll have two different outcomes. Because once you start taking distributions out of an account, if an account is negative, when you take it out, as he said, it's reverse dollar cost averaging.
Yep.
So in that case, they didn't have any guaranteed income streams, the two brothers. The one brother got lucky, the other didn't.
Okay.
The moral to this story is to make sure that you have guaranteed paychecks, that you don't have to worry about what is the market doing at the time I have to take out money to live on.
Correct.
Absolutely. Well, Jordan, I think we need to give the viewers at home the opportunity to come in to meet with you and Adam and really talk about this book and the Ripped Report.
Yeah, I actually have a whole chapter in the book about the paychecks versus playcheck. This is our new book, The Main Street Millionaire. Call the number on your screen, click the QR code, come in for 2 meetings out of your life, and we'll put together your own RIP report, which is going to go over your level of risk that you want in your portfolio. Are you taking it? The income that we're talking about today, do you have a plan or do you have an income guess? The portfolio, the P is the health of your overall portfolio. The T is Uncle Sam. How do we get the taxes out of there? We'll give you a customized report that's specific to your numbers and a copy of our new book just for 2 nights out of your life. And we have 4 offices, right, Adam? We have
I looked, yes.
Troy, Bloomfield, Northville, and Brighton.
Jordan, thank you so much. Adam, thank you so much to our viewers at home. The number to call is 888-462-7839, 888-462-7839. Book that complimentary consultation. Get a copy of the beautiful book and the Ripped Report. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to talk about the purpose of balance. How do you make the most of your retirement years? Stay tuned.
Imagine not having to face your retirement with the same old corporate solutions as everyone else. In these economic times, you deserve a fresh look that includes a personalized income and tax strategy from a retirement planning team whose focus is on you. You only retire once. Don't settle for cookie-cutter solutions. You deserve a customized retirement plan that we call the Main Money Report. It all starts with a first meeting. To schedule yours, call the number you see here.
Welcome back to the Main Money Show, where Wall Street meets Main Street. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Jordan Main and Adam Freud of Main Financial Group. And we're talking all about your retirement years on this episode and how can you make the most of your retirement. And gentlemen, I know you get this question quite often. I mean, people are thinking about obviously the financial aspects of their retirement, but what about being fulfilled as well? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
Purpose and planning.
That's so important, right? I mean, if you're going into retirement, truly going into retirement, you don't want to just sit and watch television. You want to have a life fulfilled. If that means that you're going out and seeing the grandchildren, or like my mom did, she ended up volunteering for the elementary school that her granddaughter was in, my daughter. And they called her Grandma Petey. And we talked about the Shermanator. I might as well mention the Grandma Petey. And she was able to twice a week be there with the kids, help them read, help them learn to read. That has nothing to do with money, right? It has everything to do with being able to afford to be able to do that. She didn't have to work.
Well, I think that's the point of a solid financial retirement plan, is that it allows you to do whatever it is that you want to a degree. You don't have to worry about the dollars and cents if you want to volunteer, if you want to play golf, play pickleball, what have you. And I think that's important for mental health.
Most definitely. And what about the importance of health care and long-term care planning? Should that also tie into someone's holistic retirement plan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nowadays, especially those that are retiring early, we really do have to plan for how do we take care of the health care until their Medicare age. So we've got to build that in, because let's face it, if you're on the open market right now, trying to get health care, it's rather expensive.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of change in the industry or in retirement space, where people are retiring and they have their plan done, but then they go back to work for fun in a different career.
Yes.
And then that is good, but it also can trigger some challenges on tax planning, on Medicare
Social
issues,
Security.
on Social Security issues as
Yep.
well. So I like that new trend, but it does bring a lot more into having to plan around that additional income.
Do you have a lot of people that are choosing to work part-time just because they're afraid to get bored by not?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We had somebody come in and was a high up worker and ended up going back to the company and was driving a forklift.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
And I think it stimulates people. I mean, look at the Shermanator, Adam's dad, who's 86
Will be 87
and still does.
soon.
He's a real estate tycoon here in Metro Detroit, and I think that keeps him young to be
Yes.
involved. And we talk a lot about this in our live events we do around Metro Detroit. So you can go to our website, mainfinancialgroup.com, and you can sign up for one of our evening events where we talk a lot about everything that we've mentioned today in the show.
Oh, I have to mention one other thing. We're going to have a radio show, folks. Radio show is coming.
That's right. We also are starting every Saturday morning on
9:10 a.m. between 9 and 10. 9:10.
Oh, that's a mouthful.
9:10 a.m. And it's our show. If you like this weekly show, we've brought it to the radio. We're having an hour radio show, and we'll take a lot of time and answer your questions too.
Yeah, so we've got a radio show, we've got live events now, we've got a new book, and we have our TV show.
I'm ready for a break.
Right.
No vacation for you.
Well, on that note, Jordan, obviously this is the final opportunity for people to call in to book that consultation with you. Please tell the audience, what can they expect when they come in and what will they receive?
Yeah, when you come in, 2 meetings out of your day, out of your lives. The first meeting is to come in and tell us what you like and don't like about your current financial plan. We'll then go behind the scenes and do our nerd work, as Adam calls it, and we'll put together a customized RIP report just for you, RIPT. Make sure your risk is in line with what you're comfortable with. Make sure that you have an income plan, not an income guess if you screw up and live too long. Make sure your portfolio is healthy, you're not paying too much in fees, that your sectors are allocated right, and make sure Uncle Sam is out of that pocketbook on the taxes. We'll also throw in a copy of our new book. And we've got 4 offices around Detroit. We've said it here before, Brighton, Troy, Bloomfield, and Northville.
Fantastic. And an offer people can't refuse, obviously, the RIPT report and the beautiful book that you have. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Adam. To our viewers at home, this is your opportunity. Call in today, 888-462-7839. We talked about redefining retirement and how to turn paychecks to playchecks, how you can have a great retirement. We've been talking about that number again is 888-462-7839, or you can grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That takes you right to the landing page. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today on the Main Money Show, where Wall Street meets Main Street. Take care now.